All right, guys, let's talk Stranger Things Season 4. Full spoilers ahead. If you haven't seen Volume 2 yet, if you haven't finished the season, come back later, save this video for later, and let's talk about Stranger Things. So, if you guys want to know my thoughts on Stranger Things Volume 1, Season 4, I have a video up there. It's in the Access Blockbusters pod. Go check that out. But again, I will not be reiterating my thoughts about that. We will just be diving to Volume 2 and what I think about Volume 4 as a whole for the remainder of this episode for the next 15 minutes or so. So, Stranger Things Volume 2, Season 4 had a lot to wrap up, for sure. But it also had a lot of time to do that. Cough, cough, MCU shows and Star Wars shows. It had a lot of time to do that. It had actually 4 hours of real estate to do that. And so I was just excited. Because the one thing that Stranger Things can do incredibly well is end their shows. Every single season finale of Stranger Things 1, 2, 3, and 4 have been absolutely perfect in the context of what the shows are. I may not have liked elements of those seasons heading into the finale, but the way that they were able to wrap them up, it's almost always perfect. Almost always perfect. And so going into Season 4, I mean, I had lofty expectations. And what can I say? The show delivered. I love the finale. I loved Episode 8. I really liked Episode 8, I should say. And I love the finale. I won't dwell on Episode 8 for too long because I just want to talk about the finale all day long. But, I think Episode 8 was good. Very good. Very good. And I think that 11 showing off that, her powers and all that, it was really great to see again. Obviously, the reunion between her and Mike and Will and Jonathan and, Argyle for some reason. By the way, actually, no, we'll save that for the finale. But anyways, I think Episode 8 was good. And I just really quickly want to touch on the fact, well, first of all, is Dr. Owens alive? I hope so. Love Paul Reiser in the show. He's great. But anyways, yeah, I mean, I go back and forth on this about my thoughts about Jason and the character of Jason. Because he kind of just shows up here and there, and he randomly just shows up at the Warzone place, and I think it was there just to be, like, the distraction for Lucas at the end of the show, but... it was like that part was not my favorite of the season, and I think it worked fine in episodes 8 and 9, but it is what it is. I mean, again, they're formulating a plan, they have a plan, and I love that about the kids. They have their plan. The Russian stuff is still kind of iffy because I enjoy watching it because of the actors, David Harbour, Winona Ryder, Brett Gelman, I believe. And the guy who plays Yuri and the guy who plays Dmitri. I've just, Yuri's been, I don't know, he's grown on me a lot. I think even more so than Eddie. We'll talk about Eddie, by the way. My gosh. I think Yuri has really grown on me as a character. And I do love Dmitri. I believe Dimitri's his name. Enzo, the other guy, Hopper's friend. He's great. Just some of the stuff in the Russian prisons it's okay. Yeah, I'd be glad to get out of there. Although I think there is still a lingering mystery of how they were able to get that part of the shadow or Mr. Goo or whatever that thing is. I think maybe we might have to address that in Season 5. Although the Duffers have said that they won't be going back to Russia. They'll all be in Hawk in Season 5. Makes sense, obviously. But yeah, so there's that. But yeah, and the final thing about Episode 8 that I'll say is that I loved... Because I was screaming at my TV saying, look, 11, if you say I forgive you, Papa, at the end of when he dies, it makes no sense. Like, this man... Sorry, the phone went off again. This man has just abused her and, claims that he really cares for her, which he may well think. But when he says, please tell me you understand, and she says goodbye, I was like, that is... It shows that the Duffer Brothers completely understand their characters, and I love that. So yeah, Episode 8 was really good. But let's get into the finale. The piggyback. Wow. What a crazy 2 episodes of Stranger Things. I think all 4 seasons finales, 4 seasons of Stranger Things, their finales have made me cry. Season 3 a lot. Season 4 a lot. There are several moments where I cried a lot. And it's just a testament, first of all, Steve's alive. I mean, my gosh, I thought he was a goner. And if Steve had legitimately died, I would have lost it, like, completely. I love Steve so much. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to think about this episode linearly, but we'll kind of go from the beginning and then just work our way through the moments. But first of all, with Argyle, it's good to finally see that he had a really significant role to play in the show, other than just driving them around and finding that, the little girl thing, like in the forest, or in the desert thing was kind of funny. But it's good that the pizza place came in handy, I guess. And to be fair to him, he was actually very funny in this episode. I think that Eduardo Franco really was actually quite funny in this episode, and his lines about like the you got to be clean about the bath before you go do a mind fight and all. It was funny. That being said, I don't really care for the character that much. I don't think it's anything to do with Eduardo Franco's acting. I think he did exactly what the Duffers told him to do. I just think this might be a case of, I hope he's not in season 5 just because we have the comedic relief, and that's it. Let's move on. Let's move on to Will really quickly. I think that Will, the character, it's going to hinge on season 5. If season 5 doesn't really dive into Will and his potential, not potential, all but confirmed sexuality, and the fact that he has a crush on Mike and all that sort of stuff, if it doesn't dive into that, I don't know. If it doesn't dive into just his sadness and his connection to the Mind Flayer and his connection to Vecna, I don't know, because it seems like that's what the show has been leading towards, maybe. Kind of like how season 1 was Mike's season. Season 2 was kind of Dustin's season, honestly. I think, at least. Dustin and Lucas, maybe. Season 3 was, I don't know, actually. Yeah, nice. Maybe season 3 was also Dustin's season. Dustin has had a lot to do in this show. It's been fun. Season 4 is definitely Max's, and I think season 5 should be Will's. I really do. And yeah, I think that Mike is good, is fine. I think that his "I love you" speech, it's weird because it feels like such a expected speech. Like you see it coming from 10 miles away. But the way that Finn Wolfhard plays it, it's like, and the way that Millie Bobby Brown reacts to it is just, it's beautiful somehow. And so that was great. I mean, Mike didn't have a lot to do. I hope he gets a lot more to do in season 4. He was a lot more active in season 1, obviously. He was the guy who believed in Elle before everyone else did. And that was great. And there's that. Jonathan, I really do like the character. All those people who are saying he and Nancy should just break up, I'm one of those people who I really hope they kind of figure it out, because I love Steve. I hope Steve finds someone else, honestly. Like, I don't think Steve and Nancy makes a ton of sense either, even though that's what they've been hinting at, and that's probably what we'll get, or one of them will die, and that'll be even worse. I just want Steve to be happy, man. Like, at the end where no one hugs Steve, and where he's just helping out at the shelter, and, just watching other people be happy, it just, I don't know, made me sad. But yeah, Jonathan, he has some things to work out, and I hope that they can recover this character. I do. Because I do like him. I do like him a lot. So that was that storyline, and the whole piggybacking thing with Elle, I think that was good, and obviously Millie Bobby Brown gives a great performance, especially when she's, in the Upside Down, in the Mind Flayer, Vecna's Mind Layer. That was good. And yeah, but I mean, I want to talk about the Hawkins stuff. Well, let's first talk about the Russian stuff. I mean, one of my biggest things, the thing that I've seen this clip now several times, because the Kate Bush running up that hill epic version that they played in the Volume 2 trailer is in the show, and that's awesome. Also, Journey's Separate Ways was in episode 8, the epic version from trailer, the trailer for Volume 1, which was also awesome. And yeah, that scene where the music is playing and they're all triumphing over Vecna and throwing Molotov cocktails at him, and Hopper has a sword, but every time I see that clip, I go, why does Hopper have a sword? Why is there a sword in a Russian prison? It doesn't matter. The scene's awesome. But yeah, the Russian prison stuff, it's I think it's good that they didn't go to Hawkins actually to help the kids. It would have felt very frantic, and the finale does feel frantic to begin with anyways. But still, I think it would have felt even more so, just like, we got to get back. And I think that the fact that they had more to deal with in Russia, it kind of felt like they sidelined them a little bit, but still, it was good. And again, we love Dimitri, we love Yuri, we love Hopper, we love Joyce, especially love Murray, just using the flamethrower to demolish those Demogorgons. That was great. It's great. But let's get to Hawkins. Now, this storyline was incredible. First of all, Eddie playing Metallica's Muppet of Masters. That's a show. Puppet of Masters. My gosh, that's Yeah, that's crazy. Anyways, Puppet of Master of Puppets. I don't, what is the song called anymore? But that scene where he's on the roof of the trailer playing the guitar solo is one of the best scenes of cinema or television I have ever seen in my entire life. It is going to go down as one of the best scenes I have ever seen in my life. It is awesome, and I don't even love Metallica that much. I don't even love 80s music that much, to be honest. But this show, just the way that they do it, it is incredible, incredibly well done. One of the best scenes I've ever seen. And speaking of Eddie, yeah, he dies. And man, I didn't expect to feel that much. Like, I really liked Eddie. I didn't like him as much as Bob per se, but I Bob in season 2. But I like the character a lot, but it was just the performance. Joseph Quinn and especially Gaten Matarazzo, they sold it. They really sold it, and it got me. It really did get me. It was just stunningly beautiful. And yeah, it's crazy how much emotion that these kids can get out, because they're kids. I mean, they're not kids there anymore. They're adults, most of them. But yeah, that scene, and I think the scene also where he tells Eddie's uncle, and I love how Eddie's uncle is like, no, I don't, is not like, no, I don't believe you. You know, my nephew's alive. He just he sees the pic, and he starts crying, and he accepts it, and it's just, man, what a show, what a show. But obviously, I mean, not obviously, but the scene that just really broke me was the whole stuff with Max, and the scene obviously where she gives that monologue of, I wish that you would take me as well. It's brutal. It's beautiful. It's brutal. Man, it is just brutal. But obviously the scene where she quote unquote dies, and Caleb McLaughlin gives the best performance he has in the entire show, where he just breaks down and screams. That scene just broke me. This season finale, it really just brought the emotion, and that scene just crushed me. I almost wish, not in a sadistic way, that Max had died, because it feels like going, if you rewatch season 4, you kind of know going in that you have 2 fake out deaths for Max in one season. It's kind of odd. But they have plans for in season 5. I have no doubt that one of the main storylines in season 5 will be Max reawakening somehow, like Elle trying to wake up Max maybe, or something like that. But yeah, it was beautiful and brutal at the same time, and it broke my heart. And yeah, wrapping up the season, I mean, Vecna is defeated, but also he's not. And I had called it all along, by the way. The Vecna is the one in charge. People who were like, no, it was the Mind Flayer, and Vecna is his 4-star general. It's clear to me that in that scene, Dustin was just theorizing, and that Vecna has always been in charge. So I was not personally surprised by that at all, actually. A lot of people were, but not me. Apologies if you can hear the more sounds outside. Sorry, things are going on. I need to wrap up the episode like right now, actually, but just a couple more minutes. Yeah, Steve's alive. Robin's alive. She's finding love. That's cool. Hope that character is happy. Nancy and Jonathan got some things to work out. I, again, cried when Elle and Hopper reunited. That was, again, beautifully acted. Again, by Millie Bobby Brown and David Harbour. But the season ends on a cliffhanger. Season ends with Hawkins invaded by the Upside Down. Vecna has won. One of my friends really said, and I agree with this is really the Avengers Infinity War for Stranger Things. It really is. It really is. They got a lot of stuff to reckon with. And it's exciting. Season 5 should take place mostly in Hawkins and the Upside Down, or both, if they're both the same thing now. And we're going to find out some more. I'm really curious to how Vecna shaped the Upside Down to look like Hawkins, because it wasn't like that when he first got there, and how and why he stopped it when Will entered. Why he stopped it on that day. I don't know. But I'm excited. I love this show. This is my second favorite show of all time behind Friends. I love this show. And the way that the characters and the actors are able to bring that emotion and bring the pain and bring the funny. That's Try Guy stuff. Bring the humor and the heart. This is one of the greatest shows I've ever seen in my life. And I'm so glad that we're getting a full 5th season. I'm so bummed that it's ending, but I'm also so happy that another spinoff is coming as well. and I love season 4. I loved season 4. It had some lows for sure. The way that I describe season 3 is pretty applicable to season 4. It had higher highs than any of the other seasons before that. It also had lower lows than any of the other seasons before that. And at the end of the day, if I had to rank the seasons, this is unpopular. I love season 3. I really love season 3. Because again, I think the highs of season 3 really outweigh the more goofy Russian Arnold Schwarzenegger parts of it. So I would go 3 as 1, 4 as 2, 1 as 3, and 2 as 4. I love all of them though. Like my least favorite is probably season 2. And again, when I rewatched them all before heading into season 4, I loved season 2. It was great. So this show continues to amaze me. And it is, again, just one of the best pieces of content I think out there in the world right now. So yeah, Stranger Things season 4, awesome. Looking forward to season 5.